Sue, welcome.
What's up?
It's nice to have you in house again. You're always working remote. I know you don't spend much time here, so it's
Live here.
so I appreciate you coming in and having a conversation. So I wanted to give people an introduction to Summan Kandola, Suru the Guru, Sue Woo, for all. No, not Sue Woo.
Not Sue
Woo. Suru the Guru. Anything else?
Do you know the flu?
No.
The Sue flu?
The Sue flu. The Sue flu, Sue the Guru. Anyway, so I wanted to dive in. So Sue has come into the family here in the past 6 months, 8 months, 8 months, 6 months.
May.
Yeah. May.
8 months.
8 months. Into the family here. Self-hired as we've grown, has become our account manager, our project lead. She deals with the people most of the time. And is a heck of a personality, has her own little thing called XO and Hustle. I'd love to get into that. And I'd say you're our digital marketing specialist. Would you agree? Copy specialist. I remember the first time you came in here and you're like, well, who does your copy? And we're like, we have a printer. And you're like, no,
I'm pretty sure actually you said I do our copy.
Yeah, because I was bullshitting 100%. I don't know. I didn't take English in university. I'm the worst. Anyways, so digital marketing specialist, if you will, island background, New West background, born and bred. Now you're here. Let's start up with how's it feel to be on the team? How does it feel to be here?
I love being on the team. That's such a bad answer.
Yo, I'm gonna knock this out of the park, son.
No, I love being a part of the team. It's a team that I feel like is growing. It's a great time to get involved in the team. You don't get to have as much say when you're in an environment where teams have already been very ironed out. So I love to be about a part of the process that is ironing out roles. Really close to the clients. Really close to also the learning. Otherwise, it would be boring.
Yeah, learning curve is insane.
You need the learning curve.
Yeah, and it's rapid, especially at that level that we're scaling right now. I want to jump back. So why you've chosen a path in your life that is very outlandish. You're an outlier in the way that you've done things. You haven't moved the way that most people move through their early, mid, and late 20s. You have navigated this world in such a way that some people will be like, what is she like? She's doing some cool stuff, but I don't know. What is she? How does she? Wait, what? And you're like, I don't know exactly what she's up to. I mean, I remember looking into it initially and be like, what is this girl?
Okay, what did you think?
I was like, well, I mean, she clearly doesn't conform.
Yeah.
She clearly has her shit together. She's got some big names behind her and she has the background, but what does she do?
Yeah.
And with a lot of the outliers we have on the pod is it's the same thing. It's okay, I get it. You're an entrepreneur, you're CEO of a company, but what do you do?
Yeah.
So what made you go that untraditional route? Maybe you can fill us in on the backstory a little bit and why you got into digital marketing.
So I went to school originally I went to school for social work because my whole goal was I grew up in a way that was all right, I need to help people because I needed help. And I went there and I realized that it wasn't the way I wanted to help people. And so then I ended up going to psych. Then from psych, I ended up going into consumer behavior. And that's when I got really interested in why people do the things that they do. And at that point, I feel like I was just Googling a bunch of shit and I was going to school. But the thing was, I was also going to school because it got me out of my house.
Of course.
And I got to move away.
Yes.
So there was that whole do I still pay $10,000 every 4 months so that I don't have to live at home? But that grows you different ways. And then I eventually just left it. So I ended up working for a telecommunication company. And I'm really fucking smart. And I got promoted really fast. I got promoted in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I started training people on our system after 3 weeks. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. So then I got in different roles. I probably had 5 roles. And I got to the point where did I want to be my boss's boss? And I didn't. And so I literally worked 14 hours a day. I saved up enough money to support me for 6 months and I quit. Because I just I didn't want that life. I've always been a rebel. The jump. Yeah, but then that
Were
was
you in Victoria at that time?
Oh, no.
You were back
Here's
in
the
Vancouver.
thing is that is the beautiful thing about companies like that is that company got me from Victoria back to Vancouver.
Got
And I
it.
still lived on my own. I was still able to do things. I was able to support myself, so I was fine. But it was when I was back in Vancouver and I was back in energy. I was back around, not that Victoria doesn't have creative people, but maybe it just didn't have the pulse that I was looking for. When I found that again, I was like, I don't want to be a part of what I'm a part of. I don't care. And once I realized that, once I realized I didn't want to be the people above me and that there was a ceiling and that I was in a very constricted environment, it just wasn't for me.
I feel like a lot of people get to that stage. I know, listen, I went to the same school. I got to the same stage. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, if I see this through and I'm at this position and you speak from that position, you think from that position, what's this position like? And I was like, do I want this? And the answer was no. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
well, shit. Now you need to figure it out.
Well, now you're faced with reality.
Which
You
is
know better.
existential crisis, baby.
Exactly.
Here we go.
Yeah.
What is the
so
meaning of life?
What is the meaning of life? What do I do? But I know better. And it's just like, if I know better and if people look to me for advice, then it's like, who am I to just sit down and like be mediocre?
Yeah.
Then I'm full
So
of shit.
you felt a sense of leadership early on.
Yeah. Leader Without a Title, Robin Sharma.
Oh,
It's a good book.
quotes. You got a notebook down there or something? Or was that just off the top? Crazy. So how do you feel about the personal brand wave and how that's all developed out and the influencer wave? How do you want to exist in that ecosystem? Because again, like I see you bob and you weave and you got the crazy Instagram stories and the posts and the community and the DMs and people are following you, but you don't really brand yourself that way. You're kind of in this weird gray area with this esoteric mist around you. How do you feel about that whole thing? Why haven't you gone down that route? Because I feel like you have the intangibles, you understand digital marketing, you understand the platforms, you have the personality. It's like, yeah, that is a person that would go that influencer personality route and just use those affiliate links to kick back and live from Bali.
Chill. Yo, Bali is my backup.
Bali's backup.
Bali is my backup.
Got it.
It's because I already did it. So when I quit my job and I started doing YouTube, I started branding myself. And I never was really susceptible to other people's opinions of me. I understand perception and I understood that like your reality created you to have that perception of me and that's fine. I have to stand strong in my own identity. But I mean, I'm human. And so I was branding myself on Instagram and I got really good at it. And originally I had started, like even when I was at the old job, that's when I was learning how to do this when it was dead. And when I was doing it and executing it, it fucked with my own identity. And so I was like, okay, here's a good example. I went on a date with a guy, right? And he's just like, you're not exactly who I thought you were from YouTube. And I'm like, because I'm a fucking person, right? And when I'm on YouTube, I'm giving you a shit ton of energy for 2 minutes for you to stay on my page.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Like
yeah.
I'm keeping you engaged. I have 10 seconds at a time so that you don't click off.
Yeah.
And it's fine. Like I am that person and that is a part of me. You've been with me
In
all
bursts.
day
In bursts.
right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
there. But like, I mean, I'm human and
Yeah.
this is my reality. And if I don't connect with you on a mental level, then we have nothing.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. And so I got to a point where I started to have that own misconception with my identity. So I stopped personal branding myself. I am going to go back into that. However, what I've realized is that like, okay, so you can have roadblocks, but it's up to you whether that roadblock stops you in your tracks and changes your direction or if you just figure out how to pivot. So it's like, okay, if that fucks with my identity, then just get somebody else to run it.
Yeah, the obstruction is the instruction.
Exactly.
Yeah, so a former podcast guest, Stephanie Yu, huge following, 200K, was absolutely killing it on the platform. Actually came on the podcast and then a week later was like, you know what? I've become a different person.
Yeah.
And I'm going to leave everything. And I'm going to, cause she had full-time income. She was an author.
Yeah.
She was killing it off Amazon. She was killing it on socials, referrals, all of that. She had it. She made the millennial dream, right? She's living downtown. She's traveling all over the place. She's writing content and copy for different blogs. Everyone loves her. She's got the following and she's like, yeah, this is not me. So I'm going to go.
Yeah. It was inconsistent with her own narrative. And that's the thing, though, is I think that like when you go through that, that she could come back.
She could very well come back.
She can very well come back, and she can be so rooted and grounded in who she is that she understands how to use that beast rather than be subject to it.
So how are you going to use the beast of social now?
With
moving forward,
I don't ever think I had an inauthentic narrative. I just think that my relationship, like you cannot be the user and the creator at the same time.
Break that down for me.
So like if I'm the user and I'm on Instagram and I'm scrolling, right, then I'm consuming. Versus as the creator, I'm putting shit out for you guys, for other people to consume. You can be the user and the consumer, but then it ends up like, how are you using the tools that you have? Does that make sense? So it's like if I'm sitting there and I'm scrolling, then I'm not effectively using my time on Instagram, because then the other times that I'm on Instagram because I need to actually post on there or I need to actually create content, then I feel like I'm always on Instagram. And then you have this disassociation with what life really is because you're living in a fucking app.
Yes, you're
right?
very much living in an app. Yeah, so there's you set boundaries within that.
Exactly.
Changing the way you interact, but like even you could
you consume.
Yeah, what you consume, but wouldn't you say you need to keep up with the market, with the trends, what's going on around you?
But even that, you can create boundaries around that, right? So it's like if you're keeping up with a certain market, video production, let's say. Sure. If you're doing video production and then you're spending half an hour every day seeing what other people in video production are doing, that's an effective use of your time.
Right.
And let's say you're spending 20 minutes consuming like your girlfriend had a baby and you're liking it and saying, yo, congrats, right? Versus mindless surfing or comparison or I feel like just like being obsessed with like likes and shit like that. Like I didn't ever really get into that, but the second that I felt that, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do this right now.
Yeah, social verification, validation, all that for sure. So but you're still
active.
You're still there. You know what I'm saying? Like the thumb movement, and for those guys that are just listening, I'm just scrolling on my imaginary phone. The difference between the difference between, okay, I'm doing market research is like this, right? And then I'm mindlessly scrolling. It's like this, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah, but you're not, when you're doing that, you're not here and you're not there.
Yeah, but how do you check yourself? It's so easy. Like this is a platform that is literally a trap. It's a dopamine trap. It is a gamified trap to satisfy your every need. There are people, engineers that get paid hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars to gamify this app. So you fall out of, I'm doing this purposefully and mindfully to I'm just consuming. Now
it's discipline.
Fuck.
It's discipline and self-control. It's sourcing out the things that you don't want to do to other people.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you find, actually, I'll go a different direction. How do you want to change the way you were perceived on social? Like, do you think that did you think connected with that online identity so much that it changed the fabric of who you are? And then you didn't like how that changed the fabric of who you are, so you disassociated from it, went a different direction? Like, how are you going to create an online, or I guess re-energize an online community around you without doing something inauthentic or becoming a person that you're not?
So I don't ever think I was a person that I'm not. That's why I think it works for me, and I think that's why it's easy for me. But I think what I had a hard time with was the relationship I had with others and their perception of who I was online versus who I was in person. You spend an hour with me versus you spend 2 minutes with me, you're gonna get a variety of me. I have 10 moods in an hour. You know this.
Crazy.
I'm crazy. And so it's just like what I was having a difficult time with, I've healed and I've worked through that. And I've realized that like your understanding of who I am is not my responsibility, but the way that I show up and the way that I treat you and I make you feel is my responsibility, but how you receive that isn't. So
you weren't dissatisfied with how you were operating in the world. You were dissatisfied, or the person you were in the world. Yeah. You were dissatisfied with the way the world was interacting with you.
Me. And I think that had to do with more personal growth, more self-development, and standing strong in my own 2 feet. Yeah, because I started that like when I was like 22, but I grew up very sheltered. So when I moved away, that's when I started exploring the world. So for me, it was very like, okay, so this is my first touch with like showing people who I am.
Yeah, super. I mean, just with your heritage and all that, like you going out to, I mean, a lot of people do go to the island and then just like, or go to Wade University and they're like, what's up, world? Like, I'm a person now.
Yeah.
Hey, let me go this way or let me go that way. Let me craft an identity. Even still today, I think your identity is very fluid. I can't really, like, I know you. I spent a lot of time with you and I was still like, she's kind of, and I ended up putting you, just this is a mental exercise that I did. I was like, I ended up putting you in this group of like just weird outliers that like you don't you don't actually know where they're gonna go. You know, like the one that comes to mind is like Rocky and Keijan Johnson. Like, you know, like, yeah, they run gyms and they're MMA artists. Yeah. Also actors, also podcasters. And they're super passionate about everything they do. They're also super spiritual, but like you don't actually ever know how that person's gonna show up. That person's a wild card.
Yeah. You know, you said that once. You're like, I never know what you're going to look like when you come through the door.
Absolutely. No, it's true.
Yeah. Like, am I going to look hood that day? Am I going to look like a girly girl? Am I going to look in the sweatpants? I don't know.
And people don't even recognize you. That's the funniest thing, man. Because people will see you, like, they might see you 2-3 times around here and you're all self-hired, hoodied out and cap on. And then they might see you out and you're like, who the hell is this? I don't even recognize you sometimes. I'm like, what the hell? Even now you're like, we were working all day. This is at the end of a work day. And you're like, okay, let's get ready. And you like threw some makeup on. I'm like, who the hell is this person? You threw the XO and Hustle jacket on. I was like, the hell is this? I was like, oh yeah. And it, like for a moment, I was like, oh yeah, this is the girl that we initially brought in. I was like, there's that spark, which is really interesting. You still stayed true to that. So maybe you can, actually, now let's go back. I want to why, if you come from like a traditional family, traditional, I'm going to use that term a little loosely, you know, family structured, a little bit sheltered, you go to university, you know, you didn't finish. Did you finish?
No, I quit. I have 7 credits left.
You're the
I'm
worst.
An idiot.
You're
I know.
an idiot. Oh my gosh.
I can call myself out.
You didn't finish. You're like, all right, I'm gonna go out into the working world. Yeah. You know, that's so funny.
I have been working since I was 13 though.
I understand.
Yeah.
That's so funny because on your resume, I just saw University of Victoria and it's psychology faculty or something like that. And I was like, okay, cool. She grad it. So I didn't grad either, but I'm literally like UVic.
What's a resume nowadays?
Gustavin School of Business. And everyone's like, yep, he's good. He definitely graduated. Nope. Anyway, so you go out and you're like, all right, I'm going into the working world and I'm going to throw myself online.
Good thing I'm never going for future employment.
Yeah. Like, anyways. So but you're still, what was it in your head being like, oh, I can actually leave with 7 credits left. I can actually leave and go put myself online and try to carve a lane out for myself in the world.
That wasn't even the goal. So the goal was, I was in school at the time, and when did I leave? Okay, at this point, a girlfriend and I had been living together for a little while, and then she left. She finished school, and she calls me, and so I got in like a new apartment. Where was it? Fuck, it was on Dallas Road. Like, it was the fucking dopest apartment, $600, right? On Dallas Road, like wake up to the ocean, like my dream. And she calls me. She's like, "Yo, I can't do my last 2 courses in Sask, so I have to come back." I was like, let's split the bed. I got a king size. Let's $300 at each, right? Damn. And so we literally...
Dude, share a Tinder profile too while you're at it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. She's cute too. And yeah, so we started living together. And so she went through like, and like, it was really interesting because like, you know...
Go ahead, talk that talk. Yeah, anyways, career. No, come on. It's really interesting because...
It's interesting because you get to see yourself. You're always on, right? It's like, I love this girl to death, but we were far enough removed from one another that I got to see myself 360 all the time. We went to school together. We were like really good friends. We still are very good friends. Then we live together. You sleep together. You wake up, hey, honey, it's time to wake up. We had school at the same time together. And so when I was in that redundancy, I was like, what kind of life do I want? That's literally, I was like, yo, like at this point I had lived with guys and I had done my thing, but I was just like, it's different when you're with your girlfriend in your bed all the time, right? And I was like, what is this redundancy in my life? And so I was like, fuck it. I don't want to go to school anymore. I don't even like what I'm doing, which is funny because now I love psychology. But I love consumer behavior. I was working at Future Shop twice a week, making full-time salary. I was like, all right, I'm really good at sales. And like, as much as you guys think I'm not street smart, like, I fucking know how to make $1 out of nothing, you know? And so I got to the point where I was just like, yo, I could do this.
Yeah.
And I just quit. I called my mom and I was just like, hey, like, I'm not going to go to school anymore. And for her, it was like, that is where that traditional shit comes in. Like, you know, you need that education, blah, blah, blah. But that's also what she came to Canada thinking that was going to make her successful. That's an old way of living. And so I respected it. I understood it. And it was something to navigate.
Should have finished, but yeah.
Should have finished. 100% should have finished.
You can still go back.
But, you know, I used student loan money for something else. So.
Is that fly car out there? Hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're good.
No, I went fucking carless for 2 years after that. Yeah, and so then I got another sales job, and I was like making even better money. And at that point, I was just, you know, I feel like when you're a self-starter and you're like, hey, I want to learn how to do this, you just learn how to do it. Mm-hmm. I don't think you need. It's not that I don't want a doctor who hasn't gone to school, but I mean, I'd rather have a marketer who's failed 10 times and like succeeded 20 and figured their shit out.
Yeah, seasoned for sure. Yeah, there's a weird. I reflect on it all the time because like I've made a lot of like real world mistakes that have real world consequences, and that shit hurts.
Yeah.
You burn bridges, you fuck up businesses. Like there's a million and one ways you lose money. Like things can go really wrong in the real world. And I wish I would have, because I was a young egotistical male. I thought I could do everything like you. I could just throw myself in a situation, figure it out. And I was like, the world is my motherfucking oyster.
And then we both know how to talk.
You both know how to talk, so you can talk your way in about a situation, out of any situation.
Exactly.
And so I'm sitting there, you know, young guy, and I'm like, yo, I literally, I have this world figured out. Like I have the world by the balls.
So arrogant.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I was so
ridiculous.
Arrogant. Yeah.
And you're like, hey, if I can do anything I want, why the fuck am I here?
Yeah.
And so, so in contrast now, older, wiser by a little bit, it's like, man, I could have used that playground. I could have used that playground so much. You know, just playing, you know, dodgeball versus playing in traffic, you know, like it's like you can seriously get knocked out, killed. Like it's like the world is fucking cold.
The world is cold, but see, then I just think about this, like, wouldn't you want to figure that out earlier?
That the world is cold?
Yeah.
See, I'm happy.
And then figure out how to bring love to that.
I agree. That going from that place of ego, and a lot of kids are there. So many kids are there.
A lot of adults are there.
A lot of adults are there. You know, like coming from that place of ego and then going to that place of like you go through, you get hurt, you get humbled, you get depressed.
Yeah, it was also a root of pure depression.
Yeah. And then at some point you get smart and you get humbled and love comes back into your heart ultimately. And you start seeing things from that mindset. But it's like, that's such a long journey. Like,
but you're going to go through it anyways.
Are you? No, I disagree.
I feel
like a lot of people aren't. I think if you go down that road, you come out the other side, life is 100 times better. But most people don't even go down that road.
Okay, sure.
Okay, like, so what's the goal?
I guess I don't live life like that anymore.
Are you sidestepping, mother?
Yeah, like I don't live like I used to live. Okay, so for instance, we're at the end of a decade. We're at a beginning of a new one. What are your 10-year goals and blah, 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 or whatever. I don't think of life like that. I was listening to this podcast and it truly changed my life. He was like, everyone makes bucket lists, right? So he was like, instead of making goals, like everyone has goals. Like I have goals. I talk to you about my goals, but it's like, instead of making those goals, what you're really gunning for is you're gunning for what will that feel like when I achieve that goal, right? So if I'm gunning to figure out what is that achieving that goal going to feel like, then I'm actually gunning for an experience, right? Like I want to go jump out of a plane, and why do I want to do that? I want to feel that freedom, right? And so it's just like that's an experience I want. I want to experience like my product selling and my first customer getting that first email and them replying. That's an experience, right? And then you build and build and build on your experiences. So to say that happiness is a goal or success is a goal, then that means that you don't have it right now. So then you're always going to be in this energy of chase.
Yeah, you're in a ambition narrative for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I had a moment like maybe a couple of months ago where I was like, fuck, man, like I was so mad. I was like, Because I get mad. Like, I'm a pretty chill person, but like a lot of the shit I do is like from angst, from anger, you know,
Yeah.
like in a weird way. That's where my like dark night of the soul is, right? And I was just like, I don't know what I was doing. I was like running something. I was doing something physical, and I was like, fuck, man, I got happy and fulfilled before I got rich or famous, and I was
doesn't
like,
that feel so much
sad.
better?
No, I was pissed.
Well, you know what? Let's speak about that, because I got happy
Yeah.
and I was fucking depressed, and I got happy and I was just like, oh, what's left?
Yeah, you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really challenged with that. And I literally was like, oh, like, is this just what life is? It's like cycles. You break through it, you break a few patterns, you get better. Like, you know, the time frame gets shorter, blah, blah, blah. And you know, like you also talk about like your journey with materialism.
Oh man.
And so it's like, for me, I don't even have materialistic goals. Like, I love nice things, but I'm not doing it for that. So I'm like, what the fuck am I doing it for?
Yeah.
And I think that when you get to the point where you're like, you're happy already, then you just get to create. You just get to create more happiness, and you get to expand that. Instead of thinking life as an uphill thing, you think of it as an expansive thing. It grows this way rather than that way.
Yeah. No,
Outward.
totally. It's like David was just talking about this. Yeah, abundance.
Yeah.
Abundance, joy, abundance, things like that. Like, it's just like, dude, I've worked from a place of angst and anger, and like I go like that's fuel. That's fuel, but it runs out. But
Exactly.
it runs out. And so, but to your point of like, okay, is this what life is? Is it cyclical? I have obstacles, I figure them out, and I go, and you're like, and the same point that I was like, wait a minute, like, because I want like brick walls. I want brick walls, and I want to find a way through them, over them, because that's like, that's fun to me. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, this isn't a brick wall, this is a slide.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and so I'm like, wait a minute, my job is just to like smile, look up, and flail my arms in the air. Which at the same time, like that,
Yeah.
I don't like that is working. Like
Yeah.
today, for instance, like super long day. Yesterday, this whole week, the last month,
Yeah.
you know, like super early days, super like just not seeing friends and family and all that type of stuff. But like, dude, I'm having a blast.
Yeah. I'm grinding.
But it's also like, oh shit, like where's like I miss the pain. Where's the pain I used to feel?
The
Do you ever feel
relationship
that?
with your pain changes.
What do you mean?
I think that your relationship with pain changes because your understanding of pain changes. You know, you're not going to die.
Yeah, you know, you're not gonna die.
Yeah. Like, everything is killing you and nothing is killing you. Right? That's just a reality.
Yep.
So I feel like, yeah, this is a painful thing, but like it's I'll get through this today, and then I'll get through it tomorrow, and then I'll find a solution, and we'll be high. And so that actually challenged me to.
We'll be high.
We'll get high again. you know, yeah.
Yeah.
There's that. But I feel like that challenged me to. I was like, okay, if I feel darker pits, I'll feel higher highs.
Yeah.
And so I stopped avoiding pain.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then when you're like, oh, where's the pain? I feel like your relationship with pain changes. So your problems got better.
Okay. I'll play devil's advocate here and be like, okay, if you understand that life is completely a balance, so for every high there's a low, right? Nature is a constant
polarity.
balance. It's all polarity,
Yeah.
right? So if you understand that the lower the low, the higher the high, doesn't part of you want to chase the low?
Yeah.
So like, don't you get attracted to pain in that way?
100%. I
So-
grew up in pain. You did too. So it's like when it's a part of it is home. It feels natural.
The worst.
Yeah,
Like,
because
yeah.
it's your base narrative, and every other narrative that you've created has to work against that narrative. It's easy. It's comfortable.
Pain is comfortable.
Pain is comfortable.
Yeah, I had an experience where I was playing basketball in Denmark, and they're socialites. Their whole thing, like they have a word called hygge, which is all about like togetherness, tea, buns and bread and stories and puzzles, and that's just, it's the word for physical community and attachment, and they're all about that. Like that is their shit. They're the happiest country in the world.
Yeah.
And I went over there and I was like, no. I'm here to get better. I'm here to grind. Like I don't
Yeah.
want to see none of y'all. I'm trying to like hone my skills and kill motherfuckers. Like I want to abolish people when I go back home.
Yeah.
And that was the most uncomfortable I've ever been in my entire life.
Why?
Is just being like, yeah, no, like that's cool, but just come here. because fuck that, like I just wasn't there at all. I've wrote about it. It's still on my IG. You can go back to the post. You have to scroll for a long time, but
Yeah.
everything's still there. Being comfortable, because everyone says, oh, you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. But when it switches and your comfort zone is
And
being
discomfort.
is discomfort,
Oh, I know. Yeah.
and you go to comfort and you're like, oh, like for instance, if I hate going to resorts, man. I hate it. 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 Passion. I go to Haiti. I love that shit.
Yeah.
I am like, what is up, my motherfucking people? And they're like, you're white. What's going on?
But you like calm and chaos. You
Calm
find
and chaos.
calm and chaos. Exactly. Like I can do Scandinavian spa for a day.
Yeah, me too.
But I could never do like a relaxation trip.
But don't you like, you at a Scandinavian spa? I was just there, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like when you first walk into that area, what's in your mind when you look around, you look at the situation? How do you contextualize the situation? How do you think about that?
Well, the first time I went there with a bunch of friends.
Yeah, okay.
And I got shushed a lot because I was too immature. Like
The worst.
it's just reality.
The worst.
And so then I went back and I went by myself. And I had matured a lot in the time that I hadn't gone. And so I feel like when I walk in, my mind is very busy. And so the first few hours, I make a point to stay there all day
Yeah, me
because
too.
I have to go through that discomfort to get, it's like meditating, right? You got to ease your body in order to get into your mind.
The worst.
And so our subconscious. And so, the first few hours are kind of like painful. Yeah. Because you don't have your phone. You don't have anyone to talk to. You don't even want to talk to anybody because you're like, I fucking drove to Whistler to not talk to anybody, And then I feel like after like, I don't know, for me, at least like after 2-3 hours or a few cycles,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, why did I want to come here? And I start to explore that. And then I just like root myself in that gratitude. And I'm like, okay, I feel comfortable with all this silence. Like I was actually just thinking maybe I should do a week silence. I don't think I could do it though.
Oh, no,
I don't even know I could do 10 minutes silent.
Man, you're a yapper. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
I like to spend the whole day there. I just like once I get in that groove, I'm gone. Like I can spend days.
Exactly. Once you're in it, like
Yeah.
you're good.
You're good. And it's
Yeah.
just like, it's blissful in a way. Right. And I'm like a weird kind of guy. Like I'll start crying, laughing out of nowhere, like I get entrenched
Yeah.
and I'm through the weeds and I'm half stuck in a vine in my mind. And I just like start laughing and I'm like, people be looking and stuff. And I'm like, oh man, I'm so ridiculous right now. What am I doing?
But you want to do it anyways because it's releasing.
You're like, who cares?
Yeah,
right?
who cares?
Yeah. So how do you bring that level of self-expression and truth to you in this crazy ass world that we have, this social media world, because we're living in a society that's just so fast paced. It's like everyone's on a fucking escalator and some people are trying to run on the rails and they're trying to get up and you're just trying to exist in this space that's moving a long time, but it's also everything's working on this crazy momentum moving forward. And yet you want to be in, meditative mode. You want to have that level of mindfulness, that level of presence. How do you do that?
I think that's active. I think that's something that you have to practice. I think that you do that through one, having a meditative practice first, and then two, by checking yourself of like, okay, I think it's also knowing where you're going. So we're in a right?
Yeah,
like, okay, like a lot. Yes, we're in a very fast-paced world, this, that, whatever. But why are people doing what they're doing? Why are you running so fast? Like, how many conversations are you having with yourself as to why you are doing what you are doing? So everyone around you could be running really fast, and you could be like, oh shit, am I slow? But do you know your life path? Do you have faith in what you're doing? Do you have enough integrity to get your shit done? And I feel like, for me, once I stopped exploring and once I realized like this is what I'm doing, this is who I want to be, this is what I'm building on, I just don't have that like that feeling of like you always want to teeter, I feel like, on this feeling of like let's get shit done and it's all going to be okay, but I don't have that feeling of like getting caught up in it. At least that's what I feel like you're explaining to me, is that feeling of like there's not enough time.
Yeah, I definitely feel that, in the sense of like I just want to go, and I'm like, there's a sense of urgency, and reading the readings that I've read and just diving into the books, the podcasts, the talking, having the interviews, having the coffees with the people that are far, far ahead than where I am in life, and finding a way to strike the balance of like, no, it's cool.
Because you get
hang
that
out.
feeling of like, fuck, I want to
You're
go
like,
faster.
okay, let's go. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go. So
Yeah.
like, I understand. Okay, we need to chill out, have a balance, all that stuff, clear our mind. But like, let's fucking go. And there's that
Yeah.
fire. Like,
But it's like, what did you do today to get that done? Right? So like, for instance, today I went for lunch with an old friend, and I was telling him, I was like, I'm at the point now where like I'm ready to learn again. And then I was like, fuck, like I thought of all the things I want to learn. And then I felt that same anxiety, that angst of like, okay, how am I going to learn all these things in today?
Yeah.
And I realized like, yo, I didn't get here overnight. I stumbled my way over here like months and years at a time. So it's just like planning and like consistency.
so you don't feel the pressure of time.
I do. I do, but I don't let it overempower me.
Still in the back of your mind though.
It's still there, yeah. But I think that you need a healthy relationship with that. I think that if I felt no angst over time, then I would be like worried, because it's like if you don't have anything pushing you to be like, hey, I want to go and get this done, then I feel like you're not going to do it. But I think you also have to be settled in recognizing that things take time.
Okay. But
Go ahead, yo, challenge you.
But there's an exponential nature, like for in investing, for instance, there's an exponential nature to compound interest, right? Do you want $1,000 or do you want $1 today, $2 tomorrow for the next? Compounding nature, right? There's a compounding nature of knowledge as well. There's a compounding nature of actions. There's a compounding nature of energy. The more energy you put in, the more energy that compounds. Like I always wonder, like, how do guys like Will Smith have that much fucking energy, every day? And it's like, well, it's because that energy's been compounding for decades, and he does it in a way that's rejuvenating and cyclical. So it's like, if you understand
he's calibrated to that level.
He's calibrated to that level,
Yeah.
absolutely. So it's like, if you understand the financial benefits to moving quickly, right? Understand the compound nature of money, understanding the compound nature of knowledge, understanding the compound nature of relationships, understanding the compound nature of actions. For me, I'm like, okay, like if you put a $10,000 away when you're 18, you can retire on it. Like just throw it in the market, let it run, 7% annually, you'll be fine. I think the same way in life sometimes. So as much as I'm like, yo, chill out, dude, you have decades.
But I think that you're misconceiving that I think chilling out means doing nothing.
Yeah, I know where you're going. I know what you're saying.
I'm not, I've done a lot, for instance, today, but I don't feel like, like how do I say, sorry, I swear a lot.
Hey, you know how many cuss words have been spewed out on this podcast? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Like I think that you're insinuating that if you don't, I feel like I've gone through this lesson. I was the person who was like, oh, how much did I get done today? I would wake up 6 a.m. And I would start working the second I woke up until the second I went to bed, and I would have shit sleep. I would, you know what I mean? And it's like, then I changed all of that when I changed my behaviors, when I put in a morning routine, a wind down routine, even like just being in the car and like honoring, do I want to listen to a podcast right now or do I want to listen to music and jam out? Just honoring my energy when I can, then I feel like I get way more done. Right? So I don't feel like I don't get anything done, but I don't think that I'm so chill that I'm like, don't worry, man. Take your time. You know what I mean?
I understand.
Yeah.
Do you think you're more chill, or do you think you're just happier in the process, so it all seems
I think I'm happy
easier?
in the process. Exactly. Like I work 7 days a week right now, and it's like, it's a lot. It's a different energy output, and I get tired, but I don't wake up not wanting to. I would do this yesterday again. Do you know what I mean? Like I wake up enjoying everything that I do. So I feel like I don't want to be like, we talked about this. Like I don't want to be that person who says, no, I never had a day of work in my life. No, sometimes I want to sit in bed and meditate all day. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't feel like I'm not doing things I don't like. So I don't feel like I'm
Working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I feel like every single day I'm contributing. The days that for instance, feel the anxiety the most are the days that I know I slept on myself. If I know that day I didn't do what I could have done, that's what I have a challenging time with. It's like, do I want to watch a 2-hour movie on Netflix? I don't even know the last time I watched Netflix, you know? And I wish I could, but I get so much anxiety if I sit and watch Netflix. The only media I consume is personal development or podcasts, right? And so I'm like, yo, like sometimes I have to like tell myself, chill the fuck out. Otherwise, you're not going to be a person.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was only this year that I learned that though. I learned that through getting laid off, through burning out for shit I didn't want to do. And when I learned that, I was like, okay, like if I'm going to contribute, I'm going to contribute somewhere I want to. And the days that I do shit the bed, I just have to recognize it's also a part of the process.
Yeah. There's like, oh man. Yeah. Like, I guess it is. I guess it is.
It's hard. Like I get it. Literally the other day I was so exhausted and I stayed in bed until 5
PM?
And, yeah.
So you know what the problem with that is?
You know how much anxiety I had?
Dude, you put it on Instagram. I saw you in bed and I was like, Sue, what the hell you doing? And we were all cool and shit. But I was like, what the hell? That's the only point where you went
but at
wrong.
that point I was like so physically exhausted.
Oh.
And I was just like, but I had so much anxiety. I ended up staying up until 6 a.m.
The worst.
And I fucked my entire sleep schedule up. But that's like, I need to, 1, consume the content that's going to help me develop. And then 2, I need to get the work done that needs to get done in order to achieve my goals.
Yeah, like if seminars could save the world, right? Like it's just like who cares how much like content you consume if you're not implementing it, for sure.
Exactly. Like the thing that challenges me the most right now is I've gotten really obsessed with sleep and understanding sleep and like why we need it and blah 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 blah. You listen to all the top sleep psychologists or doctors or whatever. You gotta sleep.
Gotta sleep.
Yo, you gotta sleep.
Cannot
And it's like
sleep.
it was a skin thing. It was like, oh, like it's healthy for your skin.
Of course it was.
You know?
Yeah.
And then it was just like, yo, like it makes my brain better and this, that, whatever. And I was like, but I don't sleep. Like I sleep like 5 to 6 hours a night. But every night I go to sleep with anxiety. It's 1 a.m. and I'm like, okay, I'm putting my alarm on for 6 a.m. And I know that I'm fucking myself over.
So why do you do it?
Because it's the anxiety of like I have shit
You can't
to do.
you can't get over it. You can't get past it.
I wish I could sleep more. I'm learning how to figure that one out. But yeah, like I still feel it, but I don't feel like I let it consume my life. Yeah.
The herb, girl. It's the herb. You need to go back to the herb. Go back to the planet. You know. That'll figure it out.
I do that too.
There's that'll help you for sure. There's something I say to a lot of kids that I've trained and when I'm in the gym, like don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. As it pertains to the work that you said, like if I go to bed or if I just call it a day before like I really put all my energy in and completed, I set my intentions in the morning and I didn't see them through, and there's parts of that where like, sometimes you set intentions that are just unrealistic and you need to look back and be like, no, I had a solid day even though I didn't hit that goal. But like, if you're like, hey, listen, I just did not put all the energy in that I should have put in today. That's cheating yourself of the day.
Exactly. And that's the gym taught me that. I feel like the gym gives me work ethic.
Gym teaches you so much, man.
Oh, you don't want to do another rep? Yeah. Well, ain't nobody losing but you.
Yeah, 100%. Right? And the other thing too is no one cares.
No one cares.
But you.
Yeah.
And that should be the biggest motivating factor in itself, right? Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. So there's that. And on the sleep thing, it's like, dude, I have the same thing. I mean, like right now, just working crazy hours and trying to find a way through it. And we're both in situations where it's like everything we do, like there's a little bit of immediate like gratification, but pretty much everything we do, long game.
Yeah.
You don't see it.
No.
And you're not going to see it. Back.
But you're becoming through it, I feel like is the small shit that you do see.
Like what? Can you give me an example?
Just like how you get better, you get faster, you get stronger. Like I just quoted Kanye, but like, I feel like it's I don't know. I get high off of that kind of stuff. Like like I feel like I run better when I get better in myself, like those are the things that I'm like, I can tackle this problem way easier than I could a week ago.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really
It's
fun.
fun.
Yeah, it's fun. When you're firing at a high clip, oh, fuck, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. Like I'm working stupid hard right now. I'm not firing at a high clip.
Yeah.
And that sucks. Cause like when you get to a point where you've like optimized yourself in terms of like sleep, meditation, your food's on point, you're having lots of sex, you're doing these different things, and like you're in a good space and you're taking the time for yourself, and the time that you are working, you're focused, you're engaged, and like you're banging tasks out quick, and the quality of your work is even better.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you're like, oh my God, like that, something that used to take me 10 takes me 5. And like through the Nature of Work program and things like that, I really got to that point. But I get so entangled in everything that I'm doing in my life. And it's not even like the anxiety of like, fuck, I gotta go. Like that does exist. Like I have a scarcity thing, and that's where my shit is. But it's more like, I mean, right now it's like, yo, I just want to get up. I want to go. I want to play. Cause like, I'm just playing. Like I'm all the shit I'm doing right
There's
now.
nothing else you want to do.
This is all I want to do.
Yeah.
Like, although too much of a good thing, you know, like
Agreed. But okay, so let me ask you this. So like, this is another thing that I feel like we're sold, right? Is we're sold this idea of like, work hard now so you can play later or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, I just went to the top of the top and I started learning from them, and none of them chill. Yeah. None of them sit at home.
Too hungry as hell.
None of them chill. None of them, like, you don't see Mark Cuban on a beach for fucking 2 weeks straight. Yeah. That's not what makes him happy. So if you're a hustler, honor the fact that you're a hustler, and that's probably what you're going to do for the rest of your life. But honor what you hustle for may change, right? The people you hustle with will probably change because your life is going to change. And so it's like, I feel like when I really realized that, I was like, oh, this is what I always want to do. I just might do it in a different facet.
Hustle.
Yeah.
EXO and hustle.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that?
Yeah. EXO and hustle started off as a clothing brand. And so it started off as like hand-painted denim jackets. It was a lot of fun. They sold really well. But it was never really what I wanted to do, because what I would always think about was the content play. Why are you looking like that?
No, it's all good. It's all good. Do your thing. How cold are you right now, by the way? You're like...
I'm pretty cold.
Let's turn it up. Let's turn it up here, guys.
What was I saying? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, content play.
Yeah, I was always more interested in the media, that like creating the media for it. But I still did the jackets, and then I got to a point where I got a lot of orders, and it wasn't fun anymore. Like, I've been painting since I was a kid, and I love it. But I realized through that journey that it was like, oh, just because you have a hobby doesn't mean you need to monetize it. And that's I went through that. I'm good at a lot of things, and I tried to monetize everything, and I realized that like, it's not, you don't need to monetize everything. Yeah.
What do you think you're good at right now that you're not monetizing?
My media. Yeah. It's my conversations.
Yeah.
And so that's what EXO and Hustle is growing into. So it's going to be a show where we can sit and we can deconstruct ideas. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
So like a show where you can sit, talk, deconstruct ideas. I'm thinking Red Table Talks.
Yes. A lot like Red Table Talks, but...
Young Jada over here.
Yo, straight up. She's on the vision board, all right? One day she's going to be at my table.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that's because I feel like here's the thing is that you get from point A to point B, right? And people talk a lot about like, oh, this is my journey and this is the steps that I took, blah, 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 to get there. Like, but they don't talk about the emotional endurance that it takes, the spiritual endurance that it takes, all the shit that you have to let go of, the trauma, and your relationship with that trauma. And that's what I want to talk about. And that's what I think that when you learn those things about other people, you are able to associate with yourself in a different way.
Yeah, that's interesting. But it's more in the medium that you throw it out there. Like, so for instance, like if you have your notorious car ride rants, the best, because, you know, we catch you at weird times, you know, like the Instagram world just catches you at weird times. In a mood. It's, oh shit, Instagram's here. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm feeling crazy right now. Let me tell you a little something about love.
I'm the love doctor.
It's so as it pertains to what you were saying earlier, like, you just communicate that in a different way. I'm interested to hear what sparks that. I want to go inside your head in terms of like, you're having a thought, you're consuming some concept, and then
It's just intuitive.
you just have a reflection on it, and you're like, fuck it. Instagram caught me right now. Hold on, let's go. I got something to say. Like, how many takes does that take? Anyways, no, whatever.
Literally one.
One take.
Yeah.
One take.
I
Jake.
don't. Yeah. One take, Joss. I thought.
Yes, of course, of course, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about why I talk about the things I talk about, and then how that comes together. So
if they don't follow you at I am Summan Kandola,
thanks for the plug. Yeah.
If they don't follow you, what am I talking about? What am I referencing right now?
I like to talk about the things that I think about, and I think that we all think about things, but we don't necessarily share them because we are afraid. I don't want to say we're afraid of judgment, but I think that we're. Here's a good example. So I work in media and content production. My best friend is doing a project, and she needs to create a project that is based on media and content production. And she has this fear to ask me for help because she feels like since we live in an information generation, she should know.
Yeah.
Right? And so you're a dumbass if you don't know. You're a dumbass if you don't ask if you ask questions that you could have Googled. But for me, I feel like, no, I don't really care. I don't care about saying things that, like yesterday, for instance, I spoke on Lauren London's Instagram post. So she had released this story with Puma to promote a new line. And she had said in there, she's like, my only question is, do we get birth twice? Only God knows, right? And originally my take at that was, yeah, like we end so many worlds in our life and blah, 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 blah. And this is where I related it. But then I thought about that all day and I was like, nah, that's not necessarily my perspective anymore. So I just went back on Instagram and I was like, hey, actually, I think what she was talking about was reincarnation and about like, do we get birth twice? And then do we bring that wisdom back to us in that new spirit or whatever? And I feel like that's what I share. I share the inconsistency in my thoughts because they're just thoughts. They're not tangible. They're malleable. And they arrive at a certain level of consciousness. The more I know, the deeper that truth can become, and the more that thought can be shaped. And I feel like the more that I express that, the more comfortable people get with being wrong or just having thoughts that they don't necessarily understand or connecting with themselves.
Do you think we carry knowledge from past lives?
Yeah. But I'm still learning that.
Well, what do you think?
I'm like exploring that. I think that we do. I went to a meditation and it was a past life regression.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And here's the thing is I was kind of pissed, right? Because normally it's like a higher self meditation or a guided meditation. Michael Jordan's always my guided meditation. I don't even know like why. But
what type of shit is that? That's some crazy shit.
It's true. He's always my spirit guide. It's so crazy.
Yo, I wish Mike was my fucking spirit guide. What type of shit is that? Yo, the universe is fucking me up, man. The hell?
Well, one time it was
Jada
Yoda.
Pinkett Spit. Oh shit. Jada's my spirit guide. God damn. Anyways, whatever. It was Yoda one time?
It was Yoda one time.
That one time with the mushrooms? Yeah, okay, for sure. Anyways.
Yeah.
But past life regression.
It was past life regression. I was like, fuck this shit. I don't want to do a past life regression.
With
like,
Mike?
I don't care. Right. And it was because like I had this entitlement of like, one, I wanted to either connect to my higher self to see where I'm going, or two, I wanted a spirit guide to like help translate what I'm going through. And so it was like that arrogance. Right. And so then I went to this past life regression one, and I don't want to necessarily speak on what it was about, but it challenged a pattern that I have had in my life since I was like 16. And it showed this root of it. So then I'm like, I get out of this meditation. I can't see. I'm telling the instructor, yo, I can't see. And it was like, that's how I knew that I was so in a trance. And I think about this. And I'm just like, now I'm faced with this reality of like, do I say to myself, this thing that happened in my past life that was shown to me through a meditation is the root of my pattern and where I change my behavior from? Or do I just say, yo, that was a crazy ass meditation. Let's keep moving, you know? Because I don't know where I'm at on that scale yet.
How do you think about vulnerability?
I love it. I think I'm pretty vulnerable, but not just because I don't want to share what that particular pattern is, doesn't mean that I'm not vulnerable.
I understand. I want you to explain that though, because I don't think a lot of people understand that.
Yeah, I think that you can be. I'm a very private person, so I think that you can be private with the events of your life. I do think I'm very private with the events of my life, but how they've shaped me and how they've challenged me, I share that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have, I just have like, I have like a Jedi council in my life. That's like a new word I'm using. I think it's gangster.
It's all right.
That's all right. Yeah, because I like Star Wars. Anyways,
Yeah.
whatever. Who gives a shit?
You want Yoda to be your
Yeah.
guy.
Anyways, and yeah, or Mike, either one. And I have a lot of friends that are in that council, or I consider them, and this is just a little construct or idea made up in my mind, and it's like they're kind of in those like mid to late 30s, early 40s, predominantly women that just communicate things so powerfully, and they all share that same trait. But they all preach vulnerability at the same time, and I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Because here's the thing, is this like, okay, back to the pain point, right? Pain is the same, right? Heartbreak is the same. So necessarily, did my kid have to die, or did I have to get hit by a car, or did I have to get broken up with to have a particular way to explain my pain? No, because all that shit feels the same, right? The feeling. I'm not saying that they all have the same velocity, but I'm saying that feeling is still the same. It's still the same root. So the lesson, I think that it doesn't necessarily matter what the narrative of that lesson is. It just matters what the lesson is and how to navigate that. Because if I'm trying to translate that to an audience, your experience is different than my experience. And if I'm not saying there's anything wrong with sharing the actual story, but then you're going to feel disconnected if your story doesn't align with that to some degree.
Yeah, I hear you. And I respect that for sure. I think even that is tough, but then stories are subject to interpretation, which is the detriment and the beauty of them, which 100%. Is like, it's just like, it's such a battle in terms of like, so I can actually tell you truth in the actual details of my story, or I can share the narrative to you. The problem with the narrative is I'm either going to interpret it based on my own emotional,
there's three truths to that narrative.
There's three truths to that narrative. There's the truth, there's your truth, and there's the other person's truth.
Exactly. And that truth is subjective.
That truth is subjective in itself.
Right?
So I'm like, shit, just sitting here, and I'm like, well, we didn't accomplish anything, I'm like, damn, but it's balance, and that's what it truly is. Here's my pick with you. I think my pick with you and how you share, and not just you, but a lot of people in the space, your pronouns are fucked up. And we've talked about this before.
We were just fighting about this.
We were just talking about this.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the time, I'm really bad at this. So if you have a revelation and you share online, I just did it, what I'm about to talk about. If I have a revelation and I share online, I say you. I say, well, here's the thing. You need to do this, or you need to do that, or you need to think about it this way, or you need to take those experiences and process it in such a way. I don't think that's as valuable as going in. Like, I don't think it's as rooted in truth as being like, so I'm here and I was thinking this way, and I realized this is the way to go about it.
I love that you're picking on me this way, because I'm going to break some shit up. But go on.
But you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's the same thing. However, so for me, I got that ego where I'm like, I say you, and people are like, oh, he's talking to you, or like he's talking outward.
He's disassociating himself from whatever 100%.
He's saying. When in fact, it's me that I'm fucking talking about, right?
Exactly.
However, you have this way of, you do say you. Yeah. Now we're getting all fucked up. You do say.
I'm putting my jacket on.
You do say you, but everyone knows it's an I thing.
Yeah.
Versus I say you, everyone knows I'm projecting that outward. So why don't you change?
Why though? Because, okay, so I want you to tell me why, because originally you had said to me that, I'm going to gas myself up here.
Go ahead.
Okay.
This is your platform, baby. This is all you. This is your time. Shine.
So you had said to me, you're like, yo, something that you do really effectively is that you talk about your experience, but then you're able to translate it to an audience
Yes.
that connects to them and humanize that experience. I never, well, I don't want to say never because I never want to be subject to saying never, but
Okay.
9 out of 10
fucking
times.
Justin Bieber. But yeah.
Sorry.
Like never say never. Summan's a Disney character if you didn't know. Like she's actually, so we're talking about past life regressions. Yes, she was a Disney character for multiple
Which Disney
generations.
character would I be?
I have no idea. You're all of them and none of
Which
them.
one? Whatever one's the most gangster.
They don't have gangster Disney characters. Okay, we're not that diverse yet.
I'm from the Proud family.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so 9 out of 10 times will always say, this is my experience, this is what I learned, and this is how I feel like you can benefit from it. This is why I'm sharing it. That's all, the only way I share. I'm only thinking about it because I went through it, right? That's the selfishness of the thought. Or I'm thinking about it because it sparked something in me. So like back to that Lauren London example, was it something that did I lose my guy to death? No, but it is something that sparked thought in me because I have lost people, and I've lost them to death, but I've also lost them just to life circumstances. So it's like, it just sparked something in me, which is translatable to a larger audience.
Yeah, checkmate.
Yeah. So.
No, for sure.
So Joss.
Working, yeah. So what you
Turning
got?
the tables.
What else you got, mother? Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you a couple things I always wanted to ask you, but I always wanted to wait for this
Let's
moment.
do this.
There's a couple of things. There's a couple of angles that you take with people, in just like in your circle, and there's sometimes when you might run into that person at a party. You're both a little liquored, and you're like, you know what? What happened to this, that, and the other? Or how come you're always like this? Or
Yeah.
you know, like you said this one time or whatever, right? And and I want to go into that moment of like, but in a different type of way of like, you know, so you're.
I get really loving when I'm drunk.
Oh, I can see it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Everyone's my friend.
I'm like that when I'm high. Yeah, like
No, when I'm high, I'm like inside.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got you. So you have this identity, this outward identity of like of confidence. Yeah, you're vulnerable and you're figuring it out, but like you stand firm in that. And no one of us or like no one of your colleagues should ever knock you off that foundation. Like I'm certain.
Yeah.
Which is why you work in all situations. That's why you can go in any situation in life and kill it, because you're so solid in that foundation. Like you don't let a circumstance define you, right? Or you don't let an interaction or a no define you. You're so beyond that. So what? And I find, you know, just from interacting with people in this space, I find that young women have such a problem developing that unwavering confidence. And I blame a lot of things for that. Like I blame society for that. I blame marketing for that. Like the easy we are, the more predictable we are, the more they can, you know, manipulate us to be a certain way. And that's the best angle to take with young women. And that affects them in a negative way. And there's so many things to go into that. However, you're not that way.
Why do you think I'm not that way?
I have no clue.
But there's a perception there that you have, right?
Oh, so why do I have that perception?
Why do you have that perception?
It's just
not to gas me up, like just understand, like what are you receiving here that you feel like other people are not emulating?
Yeah, I honestly couldn't tell you, but I just know, like, for instance, so I talk a lot in my other profession about gender diversity and why, for instance, if you have a company that's like 50% men and 50% women, that company is going to do better. Like for instance, female CEOs, like the power that a female CEO can have over a company versus the power that, oh fuck, I'd love to have your take on this. I got in a huge argument with this the other day. I know. Yeah. There's a certain natural quality to a female leader that a male leader, I don't think they can have. Like for instance, like I know a lot of amazing male leaders, and a lot of the times I'll see them lead and I'll be like, oh, there's the ego. Yeah, there it is. There's the self-serving
like 10
action.
conversations I could have out of this.
Right?
Yeah.
So you see that, and even if they don't consciously see it, the people underneath them are going to feel it in some way, and there's like resentment will build or something, versus like if there's a strong female leader, that doesn't exist. So even if I have someone who's super strict, like on their shit, super disciplined, harsh, that kind of like really stern and mean mentality, I don't have resentment towards that person. I'm like, oh no, that person's doing it for the greater good, and I don't know why I feel that way. So I would argue that there, in some ways, female leaders can be something that male leaders can never be.
100%.
Everything
Vice versa.
yeah, vice versa.
Yeah.
But I don't think that part is acknowledged. Everything I just said there, all intuition and feeling.
Okay.
And so like when it comes to you, it's just like all intuition and feeling. Why is she that way? I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Do you do it consciously?
So there's a few things I want to talk about here. So one, let's talk about female leadership.
Sure.
I grew up with only brothers, and then I grew up in a house where my dad's brother, his kids were boys. There was one girl. And so I grew up around a lot of men. And I feel like I just like, you guys joke differently. And so I learned how to like just not take shit personally.
Right.
And I think that in that way, I was really lucky.
When you say you guys, you mean men?
Men.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then in school, I like majority of my buddies were guys. And so I feel like I had always been around a lot of masculine energy where I kind of just had to, I don't want to say suck it up, because I think that's something that is also miscued, but I feel like where I learned that like it's not about me. You know what I mean? I was able to disassociate myself from like a joke or from a dig or from like take out my emotion for a second. You know?
You said, I'm gonna just interject here because you said earlier in this conversation, you said, I understand that person's interaction with me is coming from the context of their life, not the context of me.
Yeah.
Like you were like, yeah, however they acted there was because of that situation, not because of anything that I did.
Yeah.
So, but that most people don't ever get there.
Yeah.
Most people don't even get there. So you're saying the same thing here.
Yeah.
Essentially.
But then I also think that I learned a lot about power at a young age. So it's like, okay, so like power can come in a lot of different ways. So think of unpredictable behavior.
Right.
Okay. So unpredictable behavior, you don't know how that person's going to walk through that door. Are they going to be crazy today? Are they going to be happy today? No. What kind of vibe are you going to get?
That's how I feel about you. Yeah.
But you learn how to read energy that way.
Yeah.
And because of that unpredictable behavior that I was exposed to at a very young age, I feel like I learned how to read a room really fast, which also taught me how to read my own shit really fast and sit in my own musky energy and then be like, why do I feel this way? And I'm just naturally curious. And so I feel like that ended up getting me to a point of realizing that I am not my emotions. It's just energy in motion. And so, I think that then, like I grew up and I was out in the world. Obviously, I have a lot of strong female friendships and I love women, but super plug for Aisha here is that I had started working for a woman who runs a company like Voices of Muslim Women that is all about female leadership. And I was at the time, I was like, I don't know, like 24. It's not that long ago, right? Maybe 23, I don't know. And I had met her because I interviewed her. I was working for a magazine at the time and I had interviewed her and I hit her up and I was like, hey, I see that you have this event, so I want to create a video for you for the event. Just want to work for you. So I literally created a video for her. I videotaped her entire event. Then I created all her media assets just so that I can get in the same room as her. And the reason was because she had an ability to like just the way that she interacted with women was so powerful. I didn't know what it was yet, but I knew that I wanted to figure it out. Now, taken like contrast, the other part of my brain is like, all right, like I want it all. And it's like, we talked about this, right? It's just like, I think that a lot of women my age, the thing that they are afraid of is like, if I go after my dreams, do I have to sacrifice building a family? And so I started, me, I was like, I'm going to be active about this. So I started sourcing mentors who were women with successful relationships and with children, because those are the people I wanted to learn from, because that's the life I want. I still want kids. I still want a relationship that is loving. And at the same time, I still want to be king shit on the street, right?
You dig?
You dig? And so I was like, that's who I'm going to learn from. And so I started finding people like that. But when I met Aisha, we're so different. Like, she's like, love and fairies. Like, literally, we're driving to her house. And I was like, I was telling her, I would never be friends with somebody who had live, love, laugh on their wall.
The worst.
The absolute
The worst.
Like, what the fuck? Walk into her house and she starts laughing, whatever. She says nothing. Walk into her house. What's on her? What?
Live, love, laugh.
Yeah. She has 3 frames of that. And I was just like, oh, shit. I feel like such an asshole.
And what did she say? What was that
started
conversation?
laughing. Oh, she just started laughing, right? She's like, yeah, I'm a nerd, whatever. But what she taught me is, so in my time working with her, is that you being big doesn't make me small. Me being big doesn't make you small. Mm-hmm. It taught me that neutrality, and that was really powerful. But what it really taught me was how to work with other women. I had always been in spaces where I mean, I make friends very easily. I'm lucky that way. But I was navigating a professional world where most of the people I dealt with were men, and I was missing the element of female leadership, of like just female voices, right?
100%.
And so she taught me that, like, how to actually work with women, and to work with other women is just, for you, I think for men, it's a lot of checking your ego. And I think for women, it's the same thing, but in a different way. Right?
You lost me there.
Like, I think that for women, it's like
I understand the male.
Like, it's like, okay, you go up, you know, and you're in a room and you don't want to feel like, oh, you're better than me, or I'm better than you, or you're going to get this. Like, there's this quote, I'm going to hate myself for not remembering who said this, but it's like, women end up fighting over men versus fighting over accolades, right? And that's paraphrasing.
Yeah.
And so I feel like then you're brought up in this society where it's like, I'm going to be prettier, I'm going to be smarter, I'm going to be better in all these ways. And then you're pinned against each other. And when you deconstruct all that and you're like, yo, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're killing it. Let's kill it together. Let's work together. I'm also beautiful, smart, intelligent, and killing it. Then I feel like all that bullshit's just gone. Right? And then I feel like when I learned how to work with other women, that's when I learned how to get very strong within myself.
I think that comes from an understanding of that it's not a zero-sum game.
No.
Like, just because I'm up doesn't mean you're down.
Exactly.
Oh, so I love sports.
Yeah.
But sports does teach that.
See, everyone thinks that I learned so much from sports, and I wish I liked, like, not, I wish I navigated
what I'm saying is that, like, yeah, sports teaches a ton of stuff, but it also says, like, if I win, you lose.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, if I'm winning, there's no way that you're winning too.
Yeah.
And that's terrible, man. Like, you can have a competitive environment where everyone wins because the universe is infinite. Like,
it is infinite.
Like, because there's no lack of resources. Like, scarcity is something that only exists in your mind. It doesn't exist in the real world.
Exactly.
Like, don't tell me that Apple and Microsoft can't coexist. Don't tell me that.
But they're the best, but they're the best in their lane.
The best in their lane.
Yeah.
That Microsoft would not be the best Apple, and Apple would not be the best Microsoft. That'd be just stupid. Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
As one man, Terrell Evans, said on not this podcast, but on my couch one night, he was like, yo, stay in your lane. There's no traffic in your lane.
Yeah.
And you can go faster.
Exactly. And so even if you think about it, like, I feel like I would be segmented into like a personal development coach, whatever, right? So what do I bring to the table that somebody else doesn't bring? That's my lane. Even though we're still in the same playing field, I still have a different lane because I'm still able to be me and connect in a different way. That's why you don't need to like go and try to manipulate your personality to mold to somebody else's version.
Dude.
Right?
Dude, listen, I've hosted fucking 60 of these things. Like, the very first thing that I figured out was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I have to be me.
Just be yourself.
There's
'Cause
no way not to be.
eventually you're going to get sick of being somebody else.
100%. Or you could, yeah. And you're not going to want to show up. You're not going to want to show up. Like, it's really easy for me to do this. It's super easy.
Another thing I want to say about confidence is there's this book.
Let's go back there, please.
Sorry, it just came to my mind and I feel like it's valuable.
Yeah.
There's this Mindy Kaling book where it's like, why is everybody eating without me? And in there she talks a lot about confidence, and she talked about 2 points, and this is like goes back to my personality, and you'll totally get this. Like me saying, oh, like I make friends very easily. But because I make friends very easily, it was very challenging for me. It used to be very challenging for me when people didn't like me. And in that book, she talks about, she's like, confidence is just doing the same thing 10 times and knowing how to do it, right? And then she's like, confidence is also knowing that you will not always be received the way that you are putting yourself out there. And I think as the weirdo, outlandish person that you labeled me as is like...
that you're self-identifying with in some way.
Sure.
Yeah.
I see that all the time. I see the way people look at me sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I'm a fucking freak.
Alien, bro.
Alien.
Yeah.
I literally just started a new job.
Yeah.
And people look at me like I'm so weird. I was on the phone with Kevin. Like I'm like super shy, right?
Yeah.
When I first go to places because I'm observant.
Yeah.
And so I'm like just watching everything, integrating. And I never go and join a clique. So I'm not doing that, right? And I'm just like integrating. And then Kevin calls me and I'm on my break and I'm myself.
Yeah.
Right? And I literally saw these people turn around and look at me like, what the fuck? Who is this?
Yeah.
Right? And it's just like, I've gotten so used to that it doesn't even bother me anymore.
Right.
I'm also the brown kid that took a very different path in life. So you go to parties and you're like, you're not what your auntie and uncle want you to be.
So what are you doing?
Yeah. And so I think that when you get really comfortable, like it goes back to the uncomfortable thing. Like it's like when you get comfortable with other people being uncomfortable with you, I feel like you're able to just stand in your own. Yeah.
Yeah. Like so like within this organization, within you, within me, like we kind of have this thing of like radical transparency, you know, like, hey, don't fuck with my energy like that today, or like just don't be like that like today, or today's not the day, or you're doing this wrong, or hey, you approach this situation this wrong for these reasons, here's why I think this. And I invite that like in all my personal relationships too. I'm like I need you to tell me, because I can't see it you know, the way that you see it. I just can't. And I do that a lot, and like generally it's pretty positive, you know. And then every once in a while, like I had like for the first time ever, not this summer, but last summer 2018, I was like, hey man, like what's going on? Like you've been distant. Like what's going on? And he's like, the dude just went off and just told me all the reasons why he didn't fuck with me. And he's like, I hope you can accept that. And I was so hurt.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, I accept that. Thank you. And he's like, I'm not going to fuck with you. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like that hurts. You got to get hit with those haymakers a couple times.
Yeah.
I'm still not over it, man. I think I'm the shit. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but it makes you look at yourself differently. I feel like that's another thing with confidence is that you have to be able to really look at yourself. You can't be scared of your shadow. But then that also teaches you how to love yourself. And if you can love yourself unconditionally, you can love the flaws in other people unconditionally. You and me fight so much. We're so different. But I feel like because I love myself and you love yourself, we can meet in the middle.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And that's why it's so hard to bring new people into the organization. Like, honestly, hey, what's the requirement for coming into Self-Fire? Love yourself. Love yourself like crazy.
Yeah.
And then you can come be in this
radical self-acceptance.
Like,
I'm never going to be a basketball player.
Damn.
You have to accept
You'll be
that.
a fly-ass basketball player, too. Oh, my God. You got the attitude
Michael Jordan
and
would be
everything. That's why Michael Jordan's coming to you in your subconscious, bro. Oh, my God. Yeah. When's the last time you dribbled a basketball?
My uncle and I used to play when we were kids.
That's I'm going to give you some game. I'm going to give you some game.
Most of the time, I just watch my brothers play.
Nah. You would be a baddie on the court. Oh, shit. That's Crash got in crazy fan mode there. Super sick, super sick. So let's we're now in 2020. This will be released in 2020. I know Kevin has been living in 2020 since October.
Yeah, he's on some other shit.
He's on some other stuff. So all this in now, everything you've explained on so many different fronts. What are you going into 2020 with? Like, what are you going into this next decade with? What's the intention? How are you now in the digital media space, in the personal development space, in the coaching space, and all of these spaces? How do you plan to interact with those spaces now, given everything you know? Like, what's the game plan? That's what I'm really trying to say.
I can't say that on camera.
Why not? Because they're competitors. We live in a universe of abundance. What are you talking about?
Truth. It's so interesting because it was just my birthday, and I was thinking about this a lot. I was like, last year I thought about getting smart. I was like, I just want to get really, really smart, mentally strong. So if you do take a shot at me, it's not about me, it's about you. I learned that. And then this past year, I wanted to open up my heart more to love. And so I feel like the game plan is to teach people the lessons that I've learned in tangible ways that they can go and apply it in their own life. And if they can't take the tangibles and apply them to their own life, then at least create conversations that cause them to think. There's nothing better no better feeling I have than when some stranger on my Instagram comments back pages of ideas from one video. And so to me, I feel like that's winning. I want people to challenge their thoughts. Why do I think the way that I think?
That's why you were sitting in that chair.
Yeah.
Young woman, that is exactly why. And that's exactly that's the thesis. That's the genesis of that right there. It's just like, just think, man.
Just think. Think, because your thoughts will change, your realities will change, your truths will change. But if you have that connection with yourself and you understand that, then I feel like you're able to, my biggest thing is like, okay, I want to be the best communicator in the world. That's literally one of my goals. And I was like, where does that actually trickle down? Where do you actually create real change? You create real change generationally, right? So if you create generational change, then where is the common thread in that generational change? Let's change the way that I think. So then the humans that I breed think differently. And that's their baseline. Think of my baseline. My baseline is an immigrant. Right? And the thought and the mindset of an immigrant who's like, yo, like I gotta fucking make it in Canada. But I got the opportunity to start from self-actualization. Imagine where the next generation gets to start from. That's my goal. And then to also teach people that. That's a big goal.
That's a big goal.
Yeah.
How do you think about death?
How do I think about death? I think I have a unique view on death because I've had a lot of death in my life.
Okay.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm very comfortable with it. It's hard.
How do you feel about your own death?
It comes. It'll come.
You're at peace with it.
I'm at peace with it because I'm not the person who has to deal with my death.
Are you at peace with it because you're like, I've got so much life left in me? Are you at peace with it? Are you going to be at peace with it at 96?
How will you know whether you're at peace with your death or not? I think about this a lot. When I was a kid, I used to go to George Derby and I would go and chat with the old people there. I don't know, something about it. I was so interested in it. And all these people, what they would talk about, like, oh, I'm so depressed at this. I'm like, I wish I did this. I feel like I took that knowledge and I was like, okay, if that's what that's why you read a book. That dude spent 4 years focusing on that idea and I can learn this in a month or however long it takes me to read this book. I'm going to read that book and I'm going to learn from that person who's had that experience and invested that time. And so for me, I feel like being comfortable with death is being comfortable with the way that you live your life. And that's why I don't have that insane urgency and anxiety anymore. That's why I don't have that dissatisfaction of life, or like, I feel like I like every day. So it's like, if I died today, hey, I saw my family. I got to ride with people I fuck with. And I listen to cool music. Like, I don't know. I lived a good life. I had a good day. And you guys deal with the death. And I feel like whoever's left behind, they learn the lessons that they need to learn from the people that died. Because I learned the lessons that I needed to learn from the people that left my life.
If you died yesterday, your life would be a victory.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. What's the synopsis of your life? What do you think is like your one core message in all of this? What's the one core thing you're trying to communicate to people? The one core common theme of the way you put yourself out in the world? I know you're hard to define, but I'm trying to define you. But I'm trying to, let you define you through your own words.
I think I'm truthful. And I think that, like I said, my truths change, but I think that I always sit in my truth. And I think I'm trying to get people to be more truthful with themselves. Oh, he said that to me and that hurt my feelings. But why? Like, let me be truthful and honest with myself why this is impacting me, because that's actually gonna change me. I don't even like the word change. It's gonna transform me. It's gonna help me grow.
Yeah, I'm gonna evolve through this.
I'm gonna evolve through that. Yeah.
That's a huge, men have problems putting space between them and their egos. I feel like women have problems putting space between them and their emotions.
Yeah.
And that's super hard. So maybe speak to the confidence aspect, and maybe speak to the emotion aspect as well. How do these people do it? You did it. How do these young people do it?
I still do it every day. Yesterday I was triggered out of my mind emotionally.
Well, Kevin or
no, Kevin had to deal with it. He deals with all the repercussions.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I was so triggered. But that trigger before used to paralyze me for months.
Right.
And that trigger only paralyzed me for a day. You get better at it because your relationship with your emotions change. Your relationship with what triggers you change.
But you have to actively do that.
Because you are sitting in your truth and you're figuring out, why am I triggered? Why is this messing me up? I know that, like, homeboy did not deserve my attitude yesterday.
Yeah.
No, but then you surround yourself with people who understand that and who just love you through it.
Yeah.
But you also have to understand that for yourself and love yourself through that and be like, hey, I am triggered today. Something about this situation still kind of fucks me up. And so now I'm gonna go and be truthful with myself and navigate that and figure it out, because then maybe next time it'll only trigger me for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That thing actually literally triggered me today. It triggered me for less than 5 minutes. Because it's just like my relationship with my emotions is different. I think, you know what though? Can I tell you a story?
Please.
I used to have a boss. He's the same guy that I met today. And I was just telling him today, I was like, when I stopped making you the victimizer, I was no longer the victim. And when I changed that narrative, it changed my reality. So if I'm not the victim, then this is an equal exchange. And if this experience is an equal exchange, then we can both learn from it. Yeah, you were still a dick, but that was your shit that you had to go and figure out. And I was subject to that lesson because that's something that I had to figure out. I had to learn how to stand in myself. And I attribute my ability to do that now. Attribute? Yeah.
I was going to let that one slide.
I know. I'm a little pop. To that experience. So would I ever take it back? No. And I feel like that it's also like the peace that you find in like my experiences are for me, not to me.
Your experiences are for you, not to you.
Yeah.
That's a bar.
Yeah.
That's a bar.
Summan Kandola.
I love it. Where should we direct people here? So what's coming from you content wise? What are we looking forward to?
Yeah, people should sign up at you can go on exoandhustle.com or .ca. Both of them redirect to the same thing. And you can sign up to be the first to know when the new show does drop. And you can find me right now on I am Summan Kandola on Instagram.
I love it.
And at Self Hired.
I love it.
Plug.
Thank you so much, Sue.